What if the heaviest burdens you carry are the ones you were never meant to hold? True freedom is not found in changing the world, but in changing your relationship with it. This is how you learn to let go, reclaim your power, and live with unshakable inner peace. How to detach without feeling guilty. Compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. Recognize attachment as emotional weight. Imagine a traveler embarking on a long and noble journey. He begins with a light pack, containing only what is essential for the road ahead. But at every town he visits, out of a sense of misguided duty, he picks up a heavy stone representing another person's worries, expectations, or happiness, and adds it to his pack. At first, the extra weight is manageable, but soon, his pack becomes unbearably heavy, his back aches, and his own journey grinds to a halt. He is no longer a traveler, he is a beast of burden, crushed by the weight of stones that were never his to carry. This is the inner conflict so many of us face. We are good people with compassionate hearts, but we confuse compassion with ownership. We believe it is our duty to carry the emotional weight of our partners, our children, our friends, and even our colleagues. We absorb their anxieties and feel responsible for their happiness, strapping their stones to our own backs. This is an unsustainable way to live. It leads to profound exhaustion, a simmering resentment, and the tragic loss of our own path, all under the guise of love and responsibility. The transformative solution is to learn to recognize attachment as the emotional weight it truly is. This is the foundational step in learning to detach. It is the practice of looking into your pack and honestly assessing which stones are yours and which you have picked up along the way. The core idea, drawn from the heart of Stoic wisdom, is that our suffering rarely comes from people or events themselves, but from our unhealthy attachment to specific outcomes related to them. We become attached to someone else's approval, to a specific vision of their success, or to the idea that we must be the source of their happiness. This attachment, this emotional investment in things outside our direct control, is the stone. It is not the person, but the weight of our expectation for them that exhausts us. Detachment in this context is not about ceasing to care. It is about ceasing to carry burdens that are not ours. To begin this practice, you must become an honest auditor of your own emotional labor. The first actionable step is to identify one significant emotional weight you are carrying for someone else. This might be the constant worry about a family member's choices or the feeling of responsibility for a coworker's mood. The second step is to ask the fundamental Stoic question: is this truly mine to carry? Is this within my control? You can control your advice, your support, and your love, but you cannot control another person's ultimate feelings or decisions. That stone belongs to them. The third step is to practice a visualization exercise. Close your eyes, picture the stone that represents this weight, feel its heaviness, and then consciously visualize yourself gently setting it down on the ground beside you. Acknowledge that it is not yours and feel the lightness that comes from releasing it. The benefits of recognizing and releasing this weight are immediate and profound. You will feel a literal and metaphorical lightness return to your spirit. The energy you once spent carrying these external burdens can now be reinvested into your own journey, your own purpose, and your own well-being. Your relationships will become healthier based on genuine support rather than anxious codependence. You will be able to love more freely and authentically because your love will no longer be tangled up with the exhausting work of emotional portage. Your practice is to identify just one of these stones today. Write it down, acknowledge its weight, and make the conscious decision that you will no longer carry it. This is the first step toward reclaiming your freedom. Recognizing the weight is the crucial first step. But to keep our pack light, we must also learn to politely refuse to pick up new stones that others try to hand us. This requires the art of setting boundaries. Next, we will explore how to build these boundaries without needing to justify your own peace of mind. To continue on this path, please subscribe to our channel, Stoic Dominion. Lesson 2. Set boundaries without justifying yourself. Imagine a wise gardener tending to a beautiful, serene garden. This garden is her soul, a place of peace and deliberate growth. To protect this space, she builds a simple, strong fence. The fence is not an act of aggression towards the world outside. It is an act of profound love for the garden within. It clearly marks where her responsibility begins and ends. It ensures that the plants she lovingly cultivates are not trampled by carelessness or malice. Now, consider the inner conflict of the person who is afraid to build this fence. They leave their garden open and then feel resentful when people wander in, disrupt their peace, and damage their growth. They want to say no, but fear being seen as selfish or unkind. So, when they finally muster the courage to protect their space, they do so with a flurry of apologies and long-winded justifications. "I'm so sorry, I can't help you right now, because I have this other thing, and I'm really overwhelmed." This pleading justification is like building a fence with a gate that apologizes for being closed. It sends a mixed signal, inviting negotiation and implying that the other person has a right to debate the validity of your needs. This ultimately weakens the boundary and creates more stress, not less. The transformative solution is to learn to set boundaries without justifying yourself. A boundary is not a request for permission. It is a simple, calm statement of what is true for you. It is the fence itself, not an apology for its existence. The core idea here is rooted in the Stoic virtue of justice, applied first and foremost to yourself. You have a right to protect your inner peace, your time, and your energy. These are your most precious resources. To offer a long justification for protecting them is to implicitly agree that your reasons are up for debate. A simple, direct, and calm statement, however, communicates quiet authority and self-respect. It is not aggressive, it is definitive. It honors your own needs as valid without requiring external approval, and in doing so, it teaches others how to treat you with that same respect. Learning to do this requires unlearning the habit of over-explaining. The first actionable step is to clearly define your boundary before you need to communicate it. Know your no in advance. I will not check work emails after 7 p.m. I will not engage in gossip. I will not lend money that I cannot afford to lose. The second step is to practice the phrase. Literally say it out loud to yourself. I am not available to talk at that time. No, thank you. That doesn't work for me. The goal is to deliver it with calm, neutral finality. The third and most crucial step is to resist the urge to fill the silence after you have stated your boundary. State it clearly and then stop talking. Let the other person process it. You do not need to manage their emotional reaction. Your only job is to honor your own truth. As you begin to practice this, you will notice a powerful shift in your sense of self. Each time you set a clean, unapologetic boundary, you are casting a vote for your own self-worth. The initial fear of being disliked will be replaced by a surge of self-respect. You will find that people who truly respect you will have no problem with your boundaries. In fact, they will admire your clarity. Only those who benefited from your lack of boundaries will object, and their objection is a gift of information. You will reclaim vast amounts of time and emotional energy, freeing you to focus on what truly matters. You become the wise gardener, and your soul begins to flourish in the protected space you have lovingly created for it. Your practice is to identify one boundary you need to set. Prepare your simple, non-apologetic statement and commit to delivering it calmly the next time the situation arises. Setting a clear boundary is a powerful act, but it can often trigger a wave of a deeply conditioned emotion, guilt. To truly master detachment, we must dismantle this feeling at its source. Next, we will learn how to replace the fog of guilt with the bright light of rational clarity. Please like this video if you're finding this guidance valuable. Lesson 3. Replace guilt with rational clarity. Picture guilt as a thick, disorienting fog. It rolls into the landscape of your mind, obscuring the path, distorting shapes, and making every shadow seem like a monster. When you are lost in this fog, you cannot see the truth clearly. Your decisions are based on fear and confusion. You second-guess yourself, you apologize for things that are not your fault, and you feel a heavy, pervasive sense of being wrong or bad. This is the inner conflict at the heart of guilt. It is a battle between our actions, which may be perfectly reasonable and necessary, like setting a boundary, and the powerful, irrational feeling that we have committed a transgression. This fog of guilt is one of the most potent tools of emotional manipulation, both from others and from our own conditioned programming. It keeps us attached, compliant, and perpetually seeking forgiveness for crimes we never committed. Living this way is like trying to navigate a treacherous mountain pass in a total whiteout. You are bound to stumble and fall. The transformative solution is to learn to replace guilt with rational clarity. This is the practice of using the bright, focused beam of your reason to burn away the fog. It is the refusal to accept guilt as a valid emotional indicator without first subjecting it to rigorous cross-examination. The core Stoic principle here is that emotions are the product of judgments. Guilt is not a mystical force. It is the result of a specific judgment you have made. I have violated a correct and important moral rule. The key is to challenge that judgment. More often than not, the rule you have violated is not a universal moral law, but an unexamined, irrational belief, often installed in you by others for their own benefit. For example, I must always be available, or I must never disappoint anyone. By shining the light of reason on these flawed beliefs, you see them for what they are. The fog dissolves, and the feeling of guilt loses its power. To become a master at dispelling this fog, you must become a rational detective of your own mind. The first step when you feel a pang of guilt is to pause and identify the exact crime you believe you have committed. Name the rule you think you have broken. I feel guilty because I broke the rule that I should always put others' needs before my own. The second step is to place that rule on trial. Ask your rational mind, is this rule universally true and helpful? Does it serve my ultimate purpose and well-being? Or is it an irrational belief? Challenge its authority. Where did it come from? Who benefits from my belief in it? The third step is to consciously adopt a new, more rational principle. Replace "I must always put others' needs first" with "It is wise and just to balance my own needs with the needs of others." Write this new principle down. It is your new law. The benefits of mastering guilt are liberating. You will break free from cycles of self-sabotage and people-pleasing. You will be able to make decisions, especially about your own well-being, with confidence and clarity, unburdened by the fear of emotional backlash from yourself or others. Your relationships will become more honest, as they will no longer be manipulated by the weapon of unearned guilt. You become the master of your own moral compass, navigating not by the confusing fog of conditioned feeling, but by the clear, bright light of your own chosen values. Your practice is to catch yourself feeling guilty this week. Don't just suffer in the feeling. Stop. Identify the rule you think you broke, and put that rule on trial with your rational mind. See if it holds up to scrutiny. Once we are free from the grip of guilt, we can begin to look at our most powerful attachments, especially love, in a new, more liberating light. Next, we will explore how to reframe love not as attachment, but as an expression of inner freedom. Please comment below with one guilt rule you are ready to challenge. Your story can inspire others. Lesson 4. Reframe love through inner freedom. Imagine two very different expressions of love. The first is like a clinging vine. It wraps itself tightly around a great tree, its survival utterly dependent on the tree's strength. It cannot stand on its own. Its love is a form of desperate need, a constant, anxious grasping. If the tree were to sway or change, the vine would be terrified. This love says, "I cannot be whole without you." Now imagine a second expression of love, this one like a lighthouse. The lighthouse stands tall and strong on its own foundation, its light a powerful, steady beam. It does not need anything from the ships it guides. It simply shines its light freely, wishing them well on their journey, finding its purpose in its own steadfastness. Its love says, "I am whole, and I wish to share my light with you." The inner conflict for so many of us is that we have been taught that love is the clinging vine. We believe that the depth of our love is measured by the intensity of our need, the fear of our loss, and the degree to which our happiness depends on another person. This view of love, as a form of attachment, inevitably leads to suffering. It creates anxiety, jealousy, and a suffocating pressure on the other person to be the source of our completeness. The transformative solution is to reframe love through inner freedom. This is the Stoic path to a more resilient, generous, and profound form of connection. It is the shift from the clinging vine to the lighthouse. The core idea is that the highest form of love is not based on need, but on virtue. It is not about what you can get from someone, but about what you can give from a place of wholeness. The Stoics had a concept called oikeiosis, which can be understood as an affinity and care for others that radiates outward from a strong, self-sufficient center. True, wise love is wishing the best for someone, wanting them to flourish according to their own nature and supporting their virtue without making their actions the basis of your own inner peace. It is a love that says, "My well-being is my responsibility. Because I am whole, I am free to love you without fear and without demanding that you make me happy." To cultivate this liberating form of love, you must focus on building your own foundation. The first actionable step is to take radical responsibility for your own happiness. Identify the areas where you are looking to someone else to fill a void within you. A void of purpose, of validation, or of peace, and begin the work of filling that void yourself using the strategies we have discussed. The second step is to practice loving without expectation. Perform an act of kindness or support for someone you care about, and then consciously release any attachment to how they respond. The act itself, done from a place of generosity, is the success. The third step is to meditate on the Stoic concept of impermanence. Remind yourself that everyone and everything in your life is ultimately temporary. This is not to be morbid, but to appreciate them more fully in the present without the anxious grasping that comes from the illusion of permanence. The benefits of reframing love in this way are immense. You will find that your relationships become less anxious and more joyful. The desperate energy of need is replaced by the calm, confident energy of generosity. You will be able to love more courageously because you are no longer terrified of loss. You will become a source of strength for the people you love, a stable lighthouse rather than a clinging vine. You will experience a love that is not a source of turmoil, but a source of deep, serene joy. Your practice is to identify one person you love. For the next day, make a conscious effort to focus not on what you can get from them, reassurance, attention, happiness, but on what you can give to them freely, from a place of your own inner strength. Loving from a place of freedom is a powerful ideal. But what happens when loving someone means you have to let them go, either from your life or simply from your grip of control? Next, we will explore the difficult but necessary art of letting go without losing your compassion. Please like and subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue building this inner lighthouse. Lesson 5. Let go without losing compassion. Picture yourself standing on a pier, holding a thick rope tied to a magnificent ship that is sailing out to sea. Your instinct is to hold on as tightly as you can. You believe that your grip is what keeps the ship safe, or perhaps you simply cannot bear the thought of it sailing away. But the ship has its own course to follow, and the tide is pulling it inexorably outward. The tighter you hold the rope, the more it burns your hands, the more it threatens to pull you from the stability of the pier and drag you into the chaotic water. The inner conflict here is one of the most painful we face. The struggle between our love for someone and our inability to control their path. This applies to a child leaving home, a friend making choices we disagree with, or a partner ending a relationship. Our desire to hold on, to control the outcome, feels like an expression of love, but it becomes a source of immense suffering for us and often a burden to them. We believe that letting go of the rope is the same as ceasing to care, so we hold on until our hands are raw and our spirit is broken. The transformative solution is to learn the art of letting go without losing compassion. This is the nuanced understanding that you can release your grip on control while still holding love in your heart. The core Stoic principle that illuminates this path is the dichotomy of control. You must clearly distinguish between what is yours and what is not yours. The ship's destination, its captain, and its journey across the sea are not yours to control. Your role is on the pier. What is yours? Your love, your well-wishes, your memories, and your compassion. Letting go of the rope does not mean you wish the ship ill. It means you accept that its journey is not yours to steer. You can wave from the shore, you can keep a light on for its return, you can send all your love and support across the water, but you must let go of the rope that is harming you and preventing you from being steady on your own ground. True compassion, in this sense, is honoring another person's autonomy. This practice requires immense courage and clarity. The first actionable step is to verbally or mentally acknowledge what you can and cannot control in the situation. Say it out loud. I can control my own loving response. I cannot control their final decision. This act of naming creates a clear line. The second step is to shift your focus from the external outcome to your internal state. Instead of focusing your energy on trying to change their mind or their path, focus on cultivating your own peace and acceptance. This is your work. The third step is to create a ritual of release. Write a letter to the person expressing all your feelings, your love, your fears, your hopes, and then, instead of sending it, burn it safely. This symbolic act can provide a powerful sense of closure, allowing you to release the energy of attachment while honoring the feeling of love. The benefit of learning to let go in this way is a profound and resilient peace. You will be freed from the anguish of trying to control the uncontrollable. You will be able to love people more purely for who they are, not for who you need them to be. Your compassion will deepen because it will no longer be tangled with your own ego and desire for control. You become a safe harbor that people can return to, not a clutching hand they need to escape from. You preserve your own strength and stability, allowing you to be a genuine source of support rather than another casualty of the storm. Your practice is to think of a situation where you are holding the rope too tightly. Consciously practice wishing the person or situation well, and then visualize yourself uncurling your fingers and letting the rope slide away. Feel the stability of the pier beneath your feet. Letting go of external situations is a crucial skill. But the ultimate project of detachment is internal. It is about building a mind that is inherently calm and self-sufficient, regardless of what ropes we may need to release. Next, we will focus on how to build this calm, unshakable mindset from the ground up. If you've ever struggled with letting go, share your experience in the comments. We are a community learning together. Lesson 6. Build a calm, unshakable mindset. Imagine an apprentice tasked with building a fortress. On the first day, he tries to build the entire thing at once. He haphazardly piles stones, tries to erect walls without a foundation, and quickly becomes overwhelmed, exhausted, and defeated, surrounded by a useless mess. The master builder then approaches and teaches him that a fortress is not built in a day. It is the result of 1,000 small, consistent, and disciplined actions. It is built by first laying a perfect foundation, and then by laying one single, well-chosen stone perfectly, day after day. The strength of the fortress lies not in a single grand gesture, but in the integrity of each individual stone and the discipline with which they are placed. The inner conflict for many of us on the path of personal development is that we are like the impatient apprentice. We want an unshakable mind now. We read a book or watch a video and expect instant transformation. When we inevitably revert to our old patterns of anxiety or attachment, we become frustrated and give up, believing that we are incapable of change. We fail to understand that a calm mind is not something you find, but something you build. The solution is to adopt the mindset of the master builder and dedicate yourself to the daily practice of building a calm, unshakable mindset. This is the integration of all the lessons we have discussed into a coherent, daily discipline. It is the understanding that your inner peace is the fortress, and your daily habits are the stones. The core Stoic idea is that character and peace are not products of chance or inspiration, but of habit and routine, ethos. You become what you repeatedly do. Therefore, to build an unshakable mind, you must engage in the repeated practices that cultivate it. This approach removes the pressure of achieving a perfect final state and instead focuses your energy on the manageable, present-moment task of laying today's stone correctly. The construction of your inner fortress depends on a simple, structured plan. The first actionable step is to establish a non-negotiable morning routine. This could be as short as 10 minutes. Before the world can impose its chaos on you, dedicate this time to your own mind. This might include a few minutes of silent meditation to practice presence, reading a single page of philosophy to set your intention, and reviewing your purpose for the day. The second step is the practice of an evening review. Before you sleep, take 5 minutes to reflect on your day, as the Stoics did. Ask, where did I act with wisdom and calm? Where did I allow attachment or guilt to rule me? What can I learn for tomorrow? This is not about judgment, it is about data collection for your own growth. The third step is to choose one specific skill, like setting a boundary or challenging a thought, to be your primary focus for the week. This allows you to build strength systematically, rather than trying to do everything at once. The benefit of this disciplined, stone-by-stone approach is that it makes profound change achievable. The daunting goal of having an unshakable mind is broken down into the simple task of winning the day. Over time, you will look back and be astonished at the fortress you have built. You will possess a deep, resilient calm that is not easily disturbed by life's chaos. Your mind will become your sanctuary, a place of strength and clarity that you've constructed with your own hands. You are no longer the frustrated apprentice, but the master builder, taking quiet pride in the slow, steady, and certain creation of your own inner dominion. Your practice is to commit not to a lifetime of discipline, but to just one small action tomorrow morning. Choose one thing, meditation, journaling, a moment of reflection, and commit to laying that one stone perfectly. Building the fortress is the work of a lifetime, done in times of peace, but the true test of any fortress is how it stands during a storm. In our final lesson, we will learn how to apply all these principles and remain detached even in the midst of emotional chaos. Please subscribe and turn on notifications to complete this powerful journey. Lesson 7. Stay detached in emotional storms. Imagine the eye of a hurricane. In the surrounding storm, winds rage at unimaginable speeds, debris flies, and chaos reigns. It is a scene of utter destruction and turmoil. But at the very center, in the eye, there is a small circle of eerie, profound calm. The sky is clear, the wind is still. This is the ultimate metaphor for the mind of a Stoic sage. Life will inevitably produce emotional hurricanes, a sudden loss, a betrayal, a moment of intense public pressure. The storm of external events and our own primal emotional reactions will rage around us. The untrained mind is swept up in the eye wall, tossed about violently, becoming part of the chaos. The inner conflict in these moments is between our desire for peace and the overwhelming power of the storm. We feel that the only options are to be destroyed by the storm or to pretend it isn't happening, both of which are forms of defeat. The final and most advanced strategy is to learn how to stay detached in emotional storms, to become the calm eye of your own hurricane. This is not about avoiding the storm or denying its existence. It is about cultivating such a strong inner center of peace and reason that you can stand firmly within it while the chaos rages around you, observing it without being consumed by it. The core idea is the culmination of all Stoic practice. It is the application of your entire toolkit when it matters most. It is recognizing the storm as an external event, setting a boundary against its intrusion into your core self, rationally processing the guilt or fear it triggers, and acting with purpose from a place of inner freedom. This is the real-time test of your fortress, the ultimate expression of your inner dominion. To find and hold this center during a crisis requires immediate and focused action. The first step is to drop your anchor. The moment you feel the storm rising, immediately bring your full attention to a physical sensation. This is most often your breath. Focus entirely on the feeling of one inhalation and one exhalation. This act alone creates a microsecond of space and pulls you toward your center. The second step is to narrate objectively. In your mind, describe what is happening in the most neutral, factual language possible, as we practiced earlier. Adrenaline is entering my system. My heart rate is increasing. Another person is yelling. This analytical narration separates your observing self from the raw experience. The third step is to recall your highest principle. In that moment, ask yourself, what does the person I want to be do right now? This connects you to your purpose and pulls you out of the reactive animal brain into your higher, rational mind. Mastering this skill is the pinnacle of emotional freedom. It means that you are no longer at the mercy of life's worst moments. While you will still feel pain and loss, they will not have the power to destroy your core sense of self. You will be able to navigate the most difficult situations with a level of grace, clarity, and courage that will seem almost superhuman to others. You become a source of strength, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you who is being tossed about in the storm. They will look to you as the calm in the chaos, the person who does not lose their head when everyone else is losing theirs. This is the ultimate benefit of all this training, to be an unshakable force for reason and virtue in a turbulent world. Your final practice is not a specific action, but a resolution. Resolve that the next time you feel the winds of an emotional storm begin to rise, you will not run. You will stand your ground, drop your anchor, and begin the work of becoming the eye of your own storm. Detachment, then, is not a cold absence of feeling. It is the courageous and compassionate art of caring deeply without being crushed. It is the freedom to love, to act, and to live from a core of profound, unshakable inner peace that you have meticulously built, one stone at a time. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the art of detachment. Your willingness to engage with these ideas is a testament to your commitment to personal growth and inner freedom. If this video has provided you with value, please like, comment with your most valuable lesson, and subscribe to Stoic Dominion, where we will continue to explore the path to a powerful and tranquil life.